The U.S. Federal Reserve kept its key interest rate steady for the 8th consecutive time on Wednesday, but this time with a clearer signal that a long-awaited rate cut may be just weeks away. For more, let's turn to Professor Shin Se-don this morning. It's great to have you back, Professor Shin.
Good morning.
There is a growing confidence that the U.S. Fed will go ahead with a rate cut in September, which is next month. Now, if a rate cut does happen next month, is Fed taking a big step, half a percentage point rate cut, a possible scenario, or a quarter percentage point? What do you think?
Well, before talking about that, we got to be sure that, September rate cut, no matter how, big it is, it's not a certain thing. In other words, we should not believe 100% that there will be a rate cut in September. So it is still open, okay? It is a still open possibility there's going to be another no change in the rate cut in September. That only depends upon the economic data like inflation and unemployment rate. Mm-hmm. And now, saying that, if the rate cut is in September, I think it's going to be 25 basis points rather than either 50 or 75 as something in the market expects. So to me, okay, we have to wait. We have to wait until the economic data first. And the second, if there is a rate cut in September, it's going to be almost 100%, 25 basis points.
Right, the market is quite excited about a rate cut in September, but like you said, we do have one more month to go and analyze those economic data. Now, how big of a deal is a quarter percentage point rate cut? I mean, how much impact will it bring to the U.S. economy and even to the global economy?
Well, we've been expecting a rate cut since the end of last year. We've been waiting for at least one rate cut during the early, but it has disappointed. So we are at the month of August now. So already in the market, the expected 25 basis point rate cut is already priced in the market prices like stock prices. So if there is a rate cut in 25 basis point in September, that will not have a great impact upon either United States or global economy. A more important thing is how long the rate cut will continue down the road. Whether they stop at 25 basis point or they continue to lower that to, let's say, 4.5 or 4.25. So from now on, the more important thing is how long the rate cut could continue when it started in September.
Well, that's exactly in line with what some market analysts are expecting, that the Fed will cut rates in a speedy manner, now even slashing the rate as much as 1.75 percentage points by September next year. Now, do you think this is a reliable projection?
No, this is a totally nonsense. It is totally nonsense in the sense that, the market has been expecting rate cut even the late 2023, and they were wrong. Right, so we got to be pretty clear that even though the Fed started to lower the rate in September, the pace of lowering the rate cut is going to be very steady and very tedious, because we have to remember that inflation, the so-called personal consumption expenditure price index, which is the core kind of target of a Federal Reserve, that is still 2.6%, way above 2.0, and it doesn't coming down. So we have to remember that inflation has been coming down very rapidly from over 5% to 2.6% now, but the pace of downfall in inflation is very slow. So and the Federal Reserve is recognizing the fact. So that, that's why, the Federal Reserve Chair commented yesterday that, somewhat inflation is, has been coming down, but still, very slow. So we got to remember that I think the process of lowering the rate from probably September it's going to take more than a year or possibly 6 quarters. So we should not expect, the rate cut will be very dramatic, like 50 basis point or even, 100 basis point. I think it is totally nonsense.
Well, Professor Shin, 2024 presidential candidate Donald Trump has long warned the Fed, not to cut rates before the election in November. The Fed said its decision will be apolitical, but wouldn't that put a good amount of pressure on the Fed chair?
Well, that is kind of political, because there's an election in November. So the real meaning of Trump's comment about no rate cut is a political one, and nobody is listening to him, and nobody is expecting the Fed will really listen to it. So it's just kind of a political rhetoric that we should not be concerned about.
All right, Professor Shin, thank you so much for your insights and your time this morning. We appreciate it as always.
My pleasure, always.